This is Dr. Mahesh Goenka. I'm the Director of Institute of Gastrosciences and Liver at Apollo Hospitals, Kolkata. Today, we are going to talk about irritable bowel syndrome. Irritable bowel syndrome, popularly known as IBS, is a very common GI disorder. In fact, its prevalence all over the world, including India, varies between 10 to 20%. That means every 5th to 10th individual is suffering from irritable bowel syndrome. Irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, is usually not a fatal disease or a precancerous disease. However, it is very important because it affects primarily the young individuals, as well as because it leads to a lot of quality of life issues. This leads to a lot of loss of man hours of work. What causes irritable bowel syndrome? It is actually multifactorial. It may be genetic, there may be stress, there may be dietary reasons. However, what is well known is that stress and diet can precipitate an attack of irritable bowel syndrome. We also know that following a GI infections, which can be viral or bacterial, there may be an episode of IBS. This is known as post-infectious IBS. In the last 1.5 years, we have also realized that some of the patients of COVID-19, coronavirus, when they recover, they may have an episode of IBS. So this is a new entity which has been recognized only in the last 1 year. So what is actually IBS? This is a chronic disorder lasting for months, sometimes years, in which there are two important components. There is abdominal discomfort or pain, usually in the lower abdomen, and this is associated with alteration in the bowel habit. And this alteration can be either in the form of diarrhea, that means loose motion, or constipation, which is reduced stool formation. Now, how do we diagnose irritable bowel syndrome? It is usually a clinical diagnosis, and there is international criteria for diagnosis of IBS. So when an individual comes to us with altered bowel habit and abdominal pain, we try to find out whether it fulfills those criteria. Now, this disease can be mimicked by many other disorders, which can be infectious disorders, it can be cancers, tuberculosis, colitis, and so on. So when an individual comes, we may have to do preliminary tests to rule out infections. This may include a stool test, a blood test. However, in some individuals, particularly those who have red flag sign, and these red flag signs are weight loss, bleeding per rectum, nocturnal symptoms, something which makes the person awake from a sleep, or a recent change of symptoms. Then we would do more detailed investigations, which may include colonoscopy, scans of various types. Now, once we have diagnosed somebody as irritable bowel syndrome, the primary treatment would be to reassure the individuals that it's not a fatal disease, it's not a precancerous disease. But then this is a disease which is chronic, tends to come back in months to years. The treatment primarily revolves around change in the dietary habits, and there are certain food matters which contains fructose which should be avoided. This may include substances like apple, too much of sweeteners, it may include cauliflower, it may include other carbohydrate-rich food also. The second aspect of treatment is to make the person relax, and some exercises including yogas and sometimes tranquilizers may help in this. About the specific drug therapy, we have to subtype the IBS into various types. So it can be a constipation predominant IBS, it can be diarrhea predominant IBS, or it can be pain predominant IBS. Depending on what type of IBS we are dealing with, we have to give the drugs to decrease or increase the motility of the gut and to relieve the pain. Overall, I must say that while IBS is very common disorder affecting every 5th to 10th individual, it is not a fatal or precancerous disease, so require diagnosis and reassurance. We must differentiate it from other more dreadful diseases like colitis, cancers, tuberculosis, and infections. We must reassure the individuals and give the drugs depending on the symptomatology. Also advise dietary modifications.